speak more than 3 words of English. When we were airborne, the flight attendant came by, wheeling a cart. She was an American with blonde hair, blue eyes, and a warm smile. In English, she asked me if I wanted something to eat or drink. I didn't understand her since I knew how to say only hello, thank you, and help. But I guessed at her intention. I presumed that the refreshments would cost money, so I waved my hand in a gesture that said no, hugging Shanghai Mama's tin pan even tighter on my lap. Then I pointed toward the cocktail napkins piled high at the edge of the cart, and the stewardess wordlessly handed me a large stack. For hours, I scribbled Chinese characters onto the thin squares of paper, placing one after another at the corner of my tray, like miniature flags of surrender. I did not intend to share these notes. Journaling had proved comforting to me since I was a child. The act of recording my thoughts gave the illusion of having a conversation with a trusted friend, when in truth I now had none. I landed in San Francisco 14 hours later, jet-lagged and emotionally drained. The airport amazed me. It glittered like a jewel with its multiple-story-tall windows and sparkling cleanliness. As soon as I had cleared immigration, I sought out the ticket counter. I was en route to Albuquerque, where I was registered to study English as a second language at the University of New Mexico. Although I had exactly $80 in traveler's checks to pay for the connecting flight, the airline staff refused to issue me a ticket. I couldn't understand why. That had been the price when I had checked in Shanghai. Bless San Francisco. There was a Mandarin-speaking agent behind the counter who understood my problem. In China, the government sets prices, so ticket prices rarely changed. But here in America, prices changed frequently, she explained. The ticket price has increased since you left Shanghai. You are $5 short. I didn't have $5, a credit card, or a number to call for help. As I stood there silently, an American man waiting behind me in line asked us what the problem was. When the desk agent explained my predicament, he took a $5 bill out of his wallet. "Here you go," he said, flashing an easy smile. The ticket agent translated. "Thank you," I replied in English, surprised that a stranger would help me. The gesture may not have meant much to him, but it meant the world to me. My first impression of Americans, and one that endures to this day, was that they are warm, giving people. The experience offered me this life lesson: when in doubt, always err on the side of generosity. It is a value that I've held dear to my heart ever since. When I got to Albuquerque, I found myself stranded once again. My father had given me the name of Mr. Sheng, a former student of his who was studying at the University of New Mexico, and had helped my family to get me accepted there. I called him collect several times, but the phone rang endlessly. I waited, hoping eventually I'd reach this stranger who was my only U.S. contact. I had nowhere else to turn. Later, I learned that Mr. Sheng had graduated from UNM a few weeks before I arrived and was touring America before returning to China. As I sat on the curb outside the luggage claim with my one large, tattered bag, I watched the cars coming and going. The popping sound of car trunks opening unnerved me. No one seemed to notice me. They were all too busy leaving the airport or coming here to pick up their loved ones. It reminded me of the day when I was 8 years old, that I left Shanghai by train and arrived at the Nanjing station alone. The feelings of loss hit me hard, and I began to cry. A car pulled up in front of me some time later. When I looked up with hazy eyes, I saw a Chinese man sitting in the driver's seat. He rolled down the window slowly. "Do you need help?" the man asked, speaking in Mandarin with a thick accent that I couldn't place. "Yes," I said. "I needed a ride to the University of New Mexico campus." "Get in," he said, waving his hand toward the passenger seat. "I'll take you there." Another generous American.